Okay, so we've got a deep dive into Rotterdam today.
Yeah.
And our listeners sent in this episode about the top 10 sites. And as someone who, loves to travel and explore new cities,
Right.
I have to say, top 10 lists are great.
Yeah.
But you and I both know they only scratch the surface.
Absolutely they do.
So I'm excited to see what we can unearth today.
Yeah. This is going to be good.
So the episode starts off strong right away with windmills.
Of course.
Kinderdijk.
Classic Rotterdam.
Yeah, I think that's what everyone pictures when they think of Rotterdam.
Yeah, for sure. Those iconic windmills.
But I'm guessing our listeners looking for more than just a pretty picture.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because, the episode even touches on it a little bit. It's like Rotterdam and its relationship with water is so complex.
Right? It's not just about the aesthetic.
Exactly.
Those windmills, they were like serious feats of engineering.
Right.
They were holding back the sea for centuries.
It's amazing.
It's a testament to human resilience and ingenuity, for sure.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
You look at those pictures a little differently now.
Right.
Speaking of different pictures.
Yeah.
This episode also mentions Delfshaven.
Oh, yeah.
The historic harbor. Which is kind of cool that they included that because it seems so different from that, modern city center we see.
Right, and that's what's so fascinating about it.
Yeah.
So much of Rotterdam was destroyed during the war.
Right.
But Delfshaven was untouched practically.
Wow.
It's like stepping back in time.
Huh.
A tangible link to that maritime past. And you know what I think is really interesting?
What's that?
It wasn't just luck that it survived.
Yeah.
Citizens actually fought to save Delfshaven.
Wow.
They recognized its importance, historically, and they wanted to preserve it.
That says a lot.
It really does.
About the city.
Yeah, their connection to their heritage and everything.
Makes you wonder about the stories those cobblestone streets could tell.
Right.
Definitely not your average tourist trap.
No, not at all.
And I think that's key here. We're looking for those places in Rotterdam that tell the real story.
The real story.
Not the one in every guidebook.
Yeah, exactly.
And sometimes those stories are told through architecture.
Oh, for sure.
And this episode talked about the cube houses in Central Station.
Yes.
And they use the words mind-bending and futuristic.
Which, yeah.
That's putting it lightly.
Absolutely. What's amazing about Rotterdam's architecture is it's just so audacious.
Yeah.
Take the cube houses.
Okay.
Yeah, they're tilted.
They're very tilted.
They're very tilted. Wow. But there's a reason.
Okay.
It's not just to be weird.
Okay.
It maximizes space and light.
Makes sense.
Which is a direct response to the housing shortages they had after the war.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like functional art.
Yeah.
It challenges how we think about urban living.
I love that.
It's so cool.
It's like, we need more housing. Let's tilt it.
Exactly.
And suddenly you have this iconic landmark.
And it works.
I love it.
It's great.
So cool.
It shows how willing Rotterdam is to experiment, push the boundaries.
Yeah.
But it's not just about being different.
It's like Central Station, soaring lines, asymmetrical angles.
It's a statement.
It's a statement.
For sure.
It embraces innovation.
Yeah.
Even in something as standard as a train station.
Right, totally.
Yeah.
It's like a look at us kind of city.
Yeah, they're like, we're Rotterdam, we do things differently.
I love that.
Yeah, it's great.
And speaking of doing things differently, we have to talk about the Markthal.
Oh, yeah.
Because the episode calls it an experience.
And it is.
Right? And that ceiling mural.
Oh, God.
It's not every day you see art like that while you're grocery shopping.
No, it's true.
Pretty amazing.
And it's such a great representation of how Rotterdam blends art into everyday life.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not just about, oh, look, a pretty picture. It's
Imagine you're walking through this bustling market.
Yeah.
All this fresh produce and local delicacies around you.
Okay, yeah.
And then you look up and there's this explosion of color and
yeah, that's true.
This incredible art. It elevates the whole thing.
It totally changes the experience.
Totally.
And it makes you think about the city's commitment to art.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Making it accessible.
Yeah, it's not some stuffy museum. It's like a living, breathing part of the community.
Exactly.
Which actually kind of reminds me.
Yeah.
The podcast kind of glossed over Museum Boymans van Boningen.
Oh, yeah.
What's up with that?
That one you got to check out.
Okay, so tell me more. What makes it special?
It's not just another art museum.
Okay.
It's a huge collection.
Okay.
Centuries of art history. We're talking big names.
Like what?
Rembrandt,
Oh,
Van Gogh,
yeah.
Dalí.
Oh, wow.
Like the heavy hitters.
Wow.
But it's more than just the names, you know?
Okay.
Imagine standing like right in front of a Rembrandt.
Why?
Like seeing the brushstrokes up close.
Yeah.
Feeling that weight of history.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
It's incredible.
That would be something else.
Yeah, and then you can like walk a few feet and you're immersed in the surreal world of Dalí.
Oh, wow.
This museum is about like really experiencing art,
Yeah.
not just looking at it.
Feeling it.
Yeah, exactly.
Powerful stuff.
It's amazing.
Wow. Okay, so they've got something for everyone.
Yeah, they really do.
Whether you're like an art aficionado or just appreciate a good masterpiece.
Exactly.
Like
You'll find something you love.
And speaking of unique experiences,
Right.
they also mentioned this place called the Depot.
Oh, yeah.
Is that like art in storage?
It kind of is.
I'm intrigued, I have to admit.
You should be.
Okay.
It's a game changer.
How so?
Okay, think about it.
Okay.
We typically only see the finished product, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Like the pieces they choose to display.
Right, in those perfect galleries.
Exactly, all pristine and stuff.
Yeah, very curated.
The Depot is like a behind-the-scenes look at the art world.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you get to see everything, all the
Ah.
stuff they don't usually put out.
Wow.
It's fascinating.
You know, it's funny you say that because a few years ago,
Yeah.
I got a behind-the-scenes tour of this museum's restoration lab.
Oh, yeah.
And it totally changed how I looked at paintings. Seeing all the work that goes into, like, preserving those pieces.
Yeah.
It made them feel even more valuable somehow.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the Depot. You see that too.
Oh, cool.
The sheer volume of art.
Yeah.
All the stories behind each piece.
Yeah.
The conservation efforts.
Yeah. That's got to be so much work.
It's incredible.
Wow. Okay. So we've got art in storage.
Yeah.
That's not your typical museum experience.
No, it's truly unique.
And for a city like Rotterdam,
Right.
that's not afraid to push boundaries.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
It fits right in.
It's perfect. And speaking of going beyond the typical,
Okay.
I noticed the podcast mentioned this place called Witte with Strat.
Oh, yeah.
They said it has an artsy cultural vibe.
It totally does.
You know, for someone who wants to, like, escape the tourist traps
Right.
and experience the real Rotterdam,
Yeah.
where would we go?
Witte with Strat, for sure.
Okay, tell me more.
Forget the polished tourist attractions.
Okay,
This is where you find Rotterdam's creative heart.
I like it.
You know, picture this. You're walking down the street
Okay.
and you stumble upon this hidden courtyard
Uh-huh.
that's been transformed into like an open-air art installation.
Ooh.
And then around the corner, there's a bookstore
Okay.
that specializes in vintage maritime maps
Oh, wow.
as a nod to the city's seafaring past.
Okay, you're speaking my language now.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's definitely got that, like, hidden gem vibe.
Totally. And
Yeah.
that's just the visual side of Witte with Strat.
Okay, there's more.
Remember how we were talking about experiencing a city through sound?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine you walk out of that bookstore with your vintage map
Okay.
and you hear live jazz coming from a cafe nearby.
Ooh. I could practically hear the saxophone now.
Right.
See, this is what I'm talking about.
I
It's
know.
those little details that really bring a place to life.
Totally. It's about engaging all the senses.
Yeah.
We talked about the windmills, the architecture, the art,
Mhm.
but what about the sounds of Rotterdam?
Oh, that's a good point.
The podcast mentioned the Maritime Museum,
Yeah.
which is awesome for understanding the city's history.
Right.
But imagine actually standing at the harbor,
Okay.
feeling the breeze off the water,
Mm-hmm.
hearing the seagulls, the boats.
It's so peaceful.
It's a whole different experience.
I know. Suddenly I'm craving stroopwafels by the water.
I feel you.
It's amazing how we can go from picturing like a bustling art scene
Right.
to the stillness of a historic harbor all in the same city.
That's the beauty of Rotterdam. It's full of contrasts.
Yeah.
You've got that modern, innovative spirit in its architecture,
Yeah.
but it still has this deep connection to its history.
It's a good mix.
It's not just in what you see either.
Oh, right. The sounds, too.
The sounds are like echoes of the past,
Huh. That's a cool way to put it.
mixing with the present.
And we wouldn't have even thought about that if we hadn't dug a little deeper.
Exactly. We went beyond those top 10 lists.
And look where we ended up.
I know, right?
So I guess the lesson here is
Yeah.
when you're planning a trip to Rotterdam,
Keep your ears open.
I love that.
Listen for those hidden soundscapes.
Yeah.
The hum of a cafe, the laughter in a market, the water in the harbor.
Ooh. Maybe we can find a Rotterdam soundscape playlist.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Ooh. I'm picturing it now.
Yeah.
Scrolling along that Harbor Wind in My Hair soundtrack on point.
perfect trip.
This has been amazing. I feel like I've not only uncovered hidden gems in Rotterdam,
Yeah.
but I've also discovered a whole new way to experience a city
I'm glad to hear that.
through its soundscape.
It's a whole other layer.
Who knew?
It's the power of a good deep dive.
It really is.
Yeah.
You got to go beyond the obvious.
Ask the what ifs.
Be open to something new.
Exactly. And you never know. You might just have a more immersive experience.
I'm ready to book a flight.
Me too. Let's go.